So I'm Emma Garrett, and I'm an executive career coach. And a branch of my business that's really important to me is the lifestyle design aspect of it. So I work with folks that are in traditional job searches, as well as those considering starting a business. I adore my clients, and I'm like, I'm a hardy woman and I have a lot of endurance, but at the same time, I was like, this cannot go on. So was feeling super overworked, and I was doing everything myself, but I just didn't know, just being so in the weeds. I it's like I knew that I needed help, and I'm aware that I'm not the best person to be doing all the things that I was doing, but I was just so in it and super overwhelmed.
We initially started talking and we brought me on. So, what about our relationship as we were getting started really demonstrated that like I understood what was going on, that I could potentially solve your problems for you or the challenge that was presenting itself.
I remember learning about your business before my business was large enough to need the support of someone with your brilliance. And I remember thinking, wow, that's so cool what she does for the people who get to work with her. I just remember thinking, like, lucky them. What a relief that must be to have that really systematized by someone so professional and who's also just fun and a delight to work with. So I just knew immediately. Plus, the kinds of questions that you were asking showed me that there could be another way, because it hadn't even occurred to me that there could be systems for the kinds of things that you've created systems for. So just even the process of going through the audit of how my business was working, what was going on for me, and your compassion, it was just like, oh, it was very clear to me. There is another way. And this woman is really clear that there is another way. And oh, thank God.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. You just made my day. So I thank you for like trusting me to work with you and kind of solve those challenges, right, during that really intense time of your life, as you're kind of like coming into this next chapter. I want to ask you, like, was there anything that surprised you about our work together? I know you mentioned you were surprised like some of the things that we could systemize. Was there anything else that really surprised you about how we work together, or what kind of work that we did together?
Yeah, my heart feels really tender because I just feel like you really get me, and you weren't ever trying to change who I am. So while also there was a ton of change going on in the business, like I'm going to change a lot of things, but not the core of who I am or how I operate. I remember you saying from the beginning, I don't remember your exact words, but it was something, the essence of it was like, this whole thing is about you doing what you do best and you love the most, and I want everything else to be not you. And to me that was just like, oh my goodness. So you painting that picture was a piece of it also that helped push me through. I had so much resistance, and it's like, I'm a coach. I mean, I get resistance and I can be pretty self-aware when I'm going through it. And I just was having, I mean, you remember, I would just be throwing fits about like, I know I want to let go of this, but I don't know how to do it. And you would just like say, okay, just tell me what you want. What's the ideal outcome? Wait, there's a better way. And you would just magic wand, fairy dust it. And it was like, oh, and you're so patient with me.
Oh, I know, I miss you so much now. Oh.
Even to the point of, remember, it was like we had that big breakthrough about one of those processes that I had just like been such a pain about, and it was so good. I was like, okay, I need to take 5 minutes and just like dance and then come back to the meeting so that I don't like, just so that I can integrate it. So you just like did the integration process with me on multiple levels. So thank you.
I'm so glad. Okay, and so we're just gonna ask you like one last thing, and I'm sure that you won't have any problems chatting about this. Is like, all right, so now that we've gone through the process, what does your life look like? What does your business look like now that we've changed the way that you've done, the way that work was being done? We've put in systems. The team is really firing on all cylinders. Like, what does your life and your business really look like?
My life is so delicious and spacious. So to have swaths of time where it's like, oh, it's a Tuesday and I had a few meetings with a few people I just absolutely adore, and then the rest of the day off for picnicking and swimming or what have you. That's normal. That's utterly normal uh, for me now. And so that's like specific. Let me go big picture. So, what is life and business like for me now? Okay, so I've been able to take on additional business opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. I've gotten more creative and more expressed in my work. So it's no secret that when we're doing things that we don't do well, that takes mental, emotional, literal energy. And so now that I'm not doing those things, I'm having way more fun and I think I'm more effective and I have more time and everyone on my team is a 10. I was saying that recently in a meeting and people were like, how do you, well, what? They're all 10s? And I was like, yeah, everyone's a 10. They're just fabulous. I love how they are with my clients. Yeah. Um, and I've gotten to do things like take a week off to be off the grid on vacation, like sailing dream, just was around the Caribbean recently, and it's just delicious.
I'm so glad to hear all that. I'm so glad that you're able to kind of live this life that is fully expressed, right? And like probably this is probably why you wanted to have your own business, right? Like a lot of the women I work with like want to be able to do these things and I'm so glad that you have it, right? And I'm so glad that I was able to be a part of you getting to this place. So, that's
Totally. I'm just realizing I'm like wanting to add even more. When we first started working together, I was doing that thing where I was like eating smoothies and prepared foods. I'm like, I'm cooking more. I have so much time for relationships. I have more time for friends and family. I get to just hang out with my friends' babies and do things like walk with them to school. And you were such a midwife for that process.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you.